On this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast, we're talking about some solid Southern riffs in the Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. We talk about how their album 2 should be considered the GOAT of Southern hardcore, how 3 probably did not get a fair shot as a follow up to 2, and what in the world happened to 4. We get off in a couple of pretty odd tangents, like Danny Trejo making an appearance in their music video, but then Josh meeting him and realizing just how short he is in person. They're currently out on tour, so you should check these guys out if they're making it through your area. But for now, let's open this pit up.
Oh, shit, it's me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast. We're all finally back together with me, Trevor, and Josh. So it feels like it's been a little bit.
2 weeks in a row, though. On a roll.
Yeah. So, but how you guys doing?
Oh, wait.
Doing great.
Sounds real good. You guys need to bump up the energy, slap your nuts or something. Let's go.
No, I was wrong. It was just me and Josh last week, huh? So screw you, man. Where were you?
I went to Movement.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
It was really good. I missed the first two bands because the guy I went with was like, I don't really care to see the openers. So we just did.
So you missed Tiger's Jaw?
So we saw Tiger's Jaw and Movements. That was it. And the venue was like an hour and 20 minutes away. And I'm just like, bro, we're going to drive an hour and 20 minutes. Like the drive there and back is longer than the concert we just saw. Like, let's at least go for the openers, you know? But wasn't my choice. He invited me and like gave me a ticket. So whatever.
Should have called him a coward.
Yeah, I should have.
Then you should have crowd killed him.
But yeah, to Movement. It was
that
good
means
though.
That means that TikTok we made the other day is to you. So when the opening band's playing, no one's there.
It wasn't. I wanted to go see the opening bands. They were called Webbed Wing and Parish, I think. Never heard of any of them, but I like to see new bands, you know?
Especially in a live setting. Like,
yeah.
You can form a better opinion in a live setting, I feel like, than on albums. Because sometimes albums are super polished, and then you see them live and they're terrible. Other times, albums are not that great. You see them live, and the energy's awesome, and you're like, I'll go see these guys live every time.
It's different now because you can, like you say, you can get in your phone and like look up any of the openers real quick. If they have anything online, right? Kind of decide for yourself like it's even worth it. But did you guys ever like judge the band name and based off that by itself be like, I don't care if I see them or not? Like it was something stupid, some stupid
I did
name.
it with Holy Fawn. We saw him with Thrice. Like I did not care to see Holy Fawn, but
yeah,
they were fine.
The venue though, so it was in Fort Worth. It was cool. It was a nice venue. Kind of reminded me of In the Venue in Salt Lake. Kind of similar setup, but you could tell like it was kind of funny because I went up front for Movements and I was just like looking around because I'm like, man, I'm like way bigger than everyone here. But then it hit me, I was like, man, I'm like way older than everyone here too. But there were a few of us like old guys in the back and we were the only ones singing Tiger's Jaw. So
nice.
You could kind of tell. Like you could tell who was there for who. Not that like Movements is bad. I really like Movements. I was glad I saw them, but come on. Like I was there for Tiger's Jaw, you know? And they were incredible.
Yeah, how'd you like them?
They were amazing. And respect to both these bands because I didn't see a single computer. I didn't see any I didn't hear any like what do you call it? The like overlays or whatever. Like there were backtracks. There were parts of Tiger's Jaw song where you're like, ugh, you know. But then I was like, oh, but I kind of like that because I know they're really up there playing their instruments and they're really singing, and I was down for it. It felt good to see both those bands play like that. So
nice,
yeah. No stage diving though. There's a barricade, or I totally would have for Tiger's Jaw.
Gives you a gap, a challenge.
Yeah. I'm too old to be jumping over the barricade.
Coward.
But yeah, jeez. All right.
They have like an insurance app on your phone. You can just like change your
I've already
values
hit my
really fast.
deductibles, so
Oh, so you were good,
I'm
man.
not scared of anything right now.
You're also in physical therapy, so I mean, why not just add to
I quit going.
it?
I can't see I can't see anything through life, so I went like twice, and I was like, "Yeah, this is too much work. It ain't for me."
Dude, it's physical therapy is just a lot of money. I feel like for what you get out of it, when you can pretty much YouTube all the same things
Like I
and just
said,
do
I
them
hit
on
my
your own
deductible,
time.
so it didn't cost me anything.
I feel like there's a time and a place because I feel like if you're involved with like a serious accident, physical therapy is very beneficial to actually have the person there helping you, stretching you out, and all that stuff. But like my wife went to physical therapy and they basically handed her a piece of paper and they're like, just do these stretches. I'm like, what did we just pay you for? Like, I
Yeah.
could have literally Googled physical therapy stretches for her back.
I did text Josh asking about workouts for the parts of my body that they were complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dude, it's literally comes down to this. If your knees and your lower back are bothering you, you have tight hips
I believe
because
it.
you start to pitch forward, so you start to overexert your lower back too much, and then you're in your knees too much.
is that why I walk like a T-Rex?
Probably. Does your dad have a tilt?
I haven't
Detail
seen my
forward?
dad in a long time.
That explains why you're leaning forward. It doesn't
Wow.
explain why you have your hands up by your chest.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the cause of that? How do I fix that? That I walk like a chicken. So
Don't have a desk job where you sit like that all
True.
day.
That's true. That's actually true.
It's funny you bring that up because like I got to do a like ergonomics test for my work, and they're like, yeah, you need a new desk and chair. So they bought me like brand new stuff, and I got my chair today, and it's awesome.
Sick.
Nice.
I know. I'm pumped.
Dude, I'm sure they were satire, but some of my favorite videos are people like green screening that they're in an office somewhere, but they're out like riding their bikes somewhere and they just totally eat it in the middle of a conference.
That's the best. The guy who like stuffs the back of his like pants. He has the big butt. And
Yeah.
he like gets knocked out in the one with the boxing match. That's the best.
Dude, I a few years ago was on a call with a customer, and he straight up took a dump with his camera on. So I'm not going to name names, but
Did you guys see the eclipse video yesterday on the Mexican news station?
no.
Dude, somebody submitted an eclipse video and they started playing it, but didn't like proofread like the video. And you just see the eclipse, and you just see this dude's like nutsack come in and like cover the sun. It's on live TV.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
It was better than the eclipse out here. We just had clouds. So
dude, I saw the whole
It
thing.
was so good.
It was awesome. Did
Nice.
you see the like if you type in because like you can look up like Google search statistics, and if you look up in the last like 3 days statistics for Google searches on why my eyes hurt, it's like spiked by like 300%.
That's so funny.
Man, people are
People are so
stupid.
dumb.
So, all right. Well, we should probably talk about music since that's what we're here for.
Well, we were talking about this before, but new music from August Burns Red, The Cleansing,
It's
with
terrible.
Will Ramos, 8 minutes long. It's not terrible. I don't love 8 minute songs personally, but Will Ramos's feature is fantastic. I am a
fact that
huge
it's-
deathcore guy,
The
but
fact that it's 8 minutes is not even the worst part of the song. It's Will Ramos.
no, man.
Then what's the worst part?
Will Ramos. Dude sounds like he's getting like a juicer, like those little, like those juicer things stuck up his butt. He's just screaming. It's terrible.
No, it's awesome.
So
bad.
I like 8 minute songs, but it really depends like if the song can keep interest. But it's the same repetitive thing over and over. Yeah, it's pretty lame, but I think it's pretty cool. You can write an 8-minute song where it's just like riff on top of riff on top of riff, and Irish Dread themselves write some of the most complicated timing stuff. So I think that's pretty
I
cool.
personally was entertained throughout the entire thing. Like, I don't like 8-minute songs. They're not my jam. But this one, when you're talking about having something different, every couple of minutes it was something new, it was something different. It very much felt like probably 3 songs in one by the end of it, but it all seamlessly goes together. So,
I mean, here's you guys talking about freaking liking EPs and stuff. This is the next iteration of EPs. Band
Just
just
8
start
minute
writing like
songs.
12-minute songs, and that's it. And it just sounds
one
like
song.
exactly. And it just sounds like 3 different songs. So this is on you guys.
Could legitimate hardcore do it? Could they make a good enough transition to be able to just consistently just have a single song go for like 7 or 8 minutes?
No, most hardcore band songs are like a minute and a half.
That's what I'm saying.
How they should
So
be.
can-
How they should be.
Can they make transitions to keep it just one song and just keep going?
No, because there's no fluff, and that's what I like. This song just had fluff. The Will Ramos stuff is just fluff. There's no substance to it. It's garb.
Well, I will say the two of my favorite songs from Tamerlane. It's a hardcore band from Salt Lake. One of them is 6 minutes and 30 seconds. The other one is 7 minutes long. And they're both very good. Have you guys ever listened to Starkweather?
No.
Let me look up one of they're like kind of like, I don't know, eerie hardcore, I guess you could say. They're super weird, but they have the CD that came out in 2005 called Crowtone. And some of those songs range from 7 minutes to 10 minutes. Which kind of depends. But they're really good too. But they're like super weird, so it kind of keeps me interested. But like you said, if it's a band that's like a minute and 5, like a minute 30, and they just play that for 8 minutes, I'm not really.
Yeah, could
down
like
for it.
Madball make an 8-minute song?
Yeah, no. That'd be mad dumb.
This Croatoan album by Starkweather is 8 songs, and it goes for 54 minutes. That's wild,
right.
man.
That's right.
That's wild.
That's a complete opposite of who was that band that Chris was telling to us, Agoraphobic Nosebleed, where it's like 108 songs in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like 20 seconds long.
Oh, yeah.
Something stupid.
Music's weird, dude.
That's like Ceremony.
Yeah.
Dude, Ceremony's dope, though.
Yep.
Did you guys hear the new 4 Year Strong?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I sent it to you, if that's what you were saying.
I really liked it.
So I'm like 50-50 on it. I've listened to it several times. I really like how heavy the verses are, because they are like really heavy for 4 Year. And then it kind of breaks it up with the chorus. The chorus slows down just a bit, and it kind of lost me. But do you like that direction that they're going?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool. I like the chorus. I had no issues with it.
Yeah. I must have missed that. I have not listened to it yet.
I
don't know
feel
when
like
because-
you would like it, Josh. It
You don't
feels
know,
more
though,
like
with
brain pain. I know, you really don't. Like, anything where it's like, hey, this is like a cover of your favorite song, he'd just be like, no, this is the worst thing ever. So
Yeah. It is cool, though. It's like, it's not a new sound, but it's a new sound for 4 Year Strong. And so
it feels similar to Brain Pain, though. Like, Brain Pain going to this album is going to feel like a smooth transition.
yeah, probably. Well, I didn't like the other one they released. What was it called? Dead End Friend? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
that was
like-
just because of the language.
Oh, I
Right?
also didn't really like the song that much either.
I thought that the song was okay. I just didn't like that it felt like a 4-year-old wrote the lyrics. So
Yeah.
a 4-year-old who learns how to swear because they watch Stand By Me.
I love Stand By Me. Get off my dead body. It's mine.
Oh, man. And
Yeah.
then Architects dropped a new song with
Oh,
Jordan
yeah.
Fish from Bring Me the Horizon.
It's the worst song I've ever heard in my entire life.
I disagree. I feel like there's worse songs you've heard.
There's worse song that I've heard. Singular.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably anything Covendetta released.
Going right there, dude.
Well, that's a random shot to take.
Literally, no one's gonna know that who they are. But okay,
I don't know.
You're right, Josh.
Probably any wannabe metalcore band from 2010 we thought was really good.
or any
Wow.
wannabe metalcore band today, aka Architects.
I don't know. I like it, but I like the direction that it's all going. Because I like Fit for a King. I even like the new Ghost Inside.
This is our generation's butt rock, and I would rather listen to last generation's butt rock.
You would rather listen to Nickelback. You're lying.
I would absolutely listen to Nickelback before I listen to Architects. 100%.
Yeah, I just
You're lying.
reposted. Someone did a Midwest emo version cover of a Nickelback song. It's actually legit. So
Really?
hop on TikTok and watch that. But going back to Curse from Architects, it's not that bad. Kyle, you're wrong. But I was just telling Josh before this that it feels like it's very polished. It feels like it was made for like a movie soundtrack. Like if someone was to do like a heavy metal movie soundtrack, that was kind of the vibes I got, and I think a lot of that's from the Jordan Fish influence from Bring Me
This
the
isn't even
Horizon.
heavy metal. Maybe this could be good for like that Teen Wolf TV series or like Vampire Diaries.
What's the most wild? What's the most wild, like hardcore metal song to a soundtrack you've ever heard?
It's probably got to be something off one of the Saw movies.
I don't know.
Like I think Saw one time they put like Memphis on there. They put who are some of the bands that Saw used to do?
So there's a scene.
Cannibal Corpse with Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
There's a scene, I think it's in Secret Life of Pets 2, when they turn on the radio and it's Ringworm.
Oh yeah, that's
Right.
what you were saying.
That's right.
That's probably the most aggressive like children's movie.
Well, yeah, because you go pick that up for your kid, and you're like, my
That's
bad.
awesome.
That movie's got a sick soundtrack though, because all the like Beastie Boys
Yeah.
songs. Anytime I hear No Sleep, what's it called, like No Sleep Brooklyn or whatever, it's
No
like
Sleep Till Brooklyn.
yeah, that song gets me going, man.
I think my most favorite soundtrack as of lately was the Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah,
That one was really good.
both those
See,
movies,
I'm
dude,
gonna hate me,
incredible.
but I haven't seen that yet.
Oh man,
It's the best like animated movie I think you'll ever watch.
it's cool
I
because
need to
it's
watch
kind of like comic-y too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what's really cool is like my kids are glued to it
Yeah,
and they love it. So, but it's got like enough like kid and adult like jokes in it to kind of keep you both going. So,
and the
I know.
soundtrack is amazing. So
yeah.
I need to watch it. I know it's something I'm missing out on right now.
have you seen the first one though?
Yes.
Okay, so you at least know like what it's about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool. What about tours? Any new tours coming through?
I don't think so, man. Like this week was weird. Not a lot of new music, not a lot of announcements. It was kind of a slow week, at least from what I could see.
Yeah. So you sent the Magnitude.
Yeah, that's sick. But
tour.
that's not
That
coming to
one looks-
Utah, so whatever.
Yeah, it's coming to Dallas, but I'm gonna be out of town for it, which is a bummer. But
I did see. I think I remember. I don't know which one of you guys got it, but a game called Speed did an advertisement with Foot Locker.
yeah,
They're sponsored by Nike.
Yeah. So who got that then through the Instagram? Was that you, Kyle?
Probably
Yeah.
Kyle.
yeah.
Yeah, they have an actual ad on Instagram from Foot Locker, and it's like advertising their Nikes, and like they're playing and stuff. And dude, you go through and read the comments, they're like, this is just too much.
No, dude. That is the coolest thing to
No.
have happened this
Yeah,
I
year.
think it's sick.
Oh my gosh, this is the same guy that gets mad when a celebrity wears like a shirt from a hardcore band. But then he's cool with Speed getting sponsored by a mega corporation.
Well, yeah, it's
Same
them.
thing. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It is.
No,
This
it's
is not
not.
the same thing at
It
all.
doesn't belong. It doesn't belong here at all.
The band got sponsored.
Yeah, that's lame. Leave him alone.
No, you're crazy.
Not crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'm not
I
crazy.
No, I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. I just like reading the comments like this is too much. All the people that just kind of go to Foot Locker to buy stuff or whatever. I'm like, yeah, how many dudes go to Foot Locker to like buy stuff for the show they're going to?
Got to get those Air Maxes.
Air
Yeah, I
Max
hope
90.
they do a collab. I hope they do like a shoe with like Gang on one shoe and Speed on the other. That'd be sick.
That's selling out, dude.
Like
That's
Puma
selling out
style.
way hard.
Have you guys like ever kind of dipped into? I think we talked about it a little bit, like what like band merch will go for. When those Vane rain jackets came out, they only made a limited quantity, and they were just to like friends. I was seeing them go for $400 or $500 online.
That's
crazy. I could get buying like older stuff, right? Like some of those old vinyls go for a ridiculous amount, but
Old Hatebreed merch, old Life of Agony merch, that stuff
Yeah.
it's insane.
When are we going to get Maylene and the Sons of Disaster eye patches?
He's not going to need them much longer. I think he's going to be blind.
Is that what he said?
I think one of the last updates I ever read about that Dallas had posted, or somebody posted for him, was he's for sure blind in one eye, but he has dry eye in the other, which basically means he will eventually go blind. Like he doesn't develop tears. So he will eventually go blind in both eyes.
Well, I would wear a Maylene patch. Walk around to the store.
I should put a patch over that last single they just released.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we'll get into the band then. So today we are talking about Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. The greatest Southern metal, Southern hardcore, I don't know what you call them, to do it. Do you guys think that they didn't create that genre, right? Do you think people were doing that before them? I went back and listened. I know there's like some more Southern influenced songs on some of these bands we listen to, but I can't really think of anyone before them that like went all in. Can you guys?
I think they kind of paved like a solid like road for that. There may have been some kind of Southern riffs in some metal songs, but nothing that really stands out to me. No.
I think that there's probably some old Southern bands, some old metal bands that probably had some Southern influence and stuff. But I don't think that anyone who was in, like the metalcore genre was doing it like this.
Right. Yeah. So they started back in 2004. And this was right after Dallas, the vocalist, had left Under Oath. Do you guys know why that he left Under Oath?
Just doing other stuff. I looked it up.
Oh, it was weird. Like I remember, like at the time that there was some like conspiracy, like controversy between the two, and why they got Spencer. But I think whatever I remember, like what Trevor was saying, I think they just parted ways. So he wanted to do something different. I mean, at that time, Under Oath, I think they were on 2 new guitarists, and then I don't think the only original member left in Under Oath is actually Aaron. I think everybody else has been replaced. At least one.
Up until they're only chasing safety, right? Because then I think after that, Aaron got swapped out for like one album, right? They had the drummer from Norma Jean, but
yes, yeah, it's like in Disemboguation. I think he wasn't one.
Yeah,
but then he's on all the later stuff. But yeah, it was actually, what was the album before They're only chasing safety. I forget that one all the time.
The Changing of Times.
Changing of Times. That was when I think they had the two newer guitarists, and that's when their sound changed a little bit musically. So, because I think they're actually one of their founding guitarists actually passed away a couple years ago, if I remember right.
He did. I'm pretty sure it was a car accident.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's how I found it. Like how I found out that he passed away was actually through Dallas's Instagram at one point.
So yeah, so they founded in 2004. Dallas leaves Under Oath. They signed to Monoverse Stereo. That's a record label I haven't heard of in a long time. And they released their self-titled. So when did you guys get into Maylene? I didn't get into Maylene with their self-titled. I had to go back and listen to that one, like after I'd already gotten into them. 2 was the first album that, and I don't even remember how we found them, but when did you guys like get introduced to them? Did you know about their self-titled, or was it kind of my story too, or second album?
I think the first time I heard them was in 2007 or 2008.
So that's around 2, because 2 came out in 2007.
Yeah.
And I remember, I guess it would have been 2008. Maybe. I can't remember. One of those years, maybe 2007. And this is when that venue from Ogden moved up to Logan up at Club MVO. And I don't remember who all played that show, but how Maylene and the Sons of Disaster was playing. That was the first time I'd ever heard the name. And I just remember a friend telling me, this is the old singer for Under Oath's new band. And that was like kind of the connection I made. That's what got me to stay. Yeah. And I remember listening to it going, this is nothing like Under Oath, not even close. But I'm pretty sure they played the song, I think it was Darkest of Kin. And the entire like floor just went nuts. You know, and ever since then I was kind of hooked. And I think that's the album I got into was 2. And I had to go back and listen to 1. I like 2 better, but yeah. What about you, Trevor?
Kind of the same story. I think it was Dry the River, though. Dry the River was the song that, with that opening just drum beat, right into that southern, just like squealing riff, is so sick. And we were already listening to some southern songs. All the metalcore acts at this time, like I've always said, they always put a southern song on there. So to have an entire album that was dedicated to it was insane. I think, though, I heard it, I think Dry the River was one of their singles. And I remember listening to the self-titled before 2 came out. But then 2 came out, and it was all that we played. We listened to 2 nonstop.
Right. So thinking about some of the bands, though, and this just popped into my head, and I think this is probably a big reason why I got into Maylene, but thinking about He Is Legend. So I Am Hollywood came out in 2004. And I Am Hollywood's got some very southern stuff to it, right? So maybe He Is Legend kind of pioneered it and Maylene just perfected it. But I don't know, because I Am Hollywood is such a freaking good album. But yeah, I remember getting into 2. I don't know. I guess we're just going to call it that. I don't know if there's like another way.
No, it's called 2.
It's called 2. Okay. Yeah, the first 2 songs, like Memories of the Grove and Dry the River, just like instantly hooked me. And their shows, I don't remember them particularly touring with like super heavy people, but their shows were always wild. I remember breaking my finger to them, hitting someone in the pit, you know? I just remember super high energy, people going nuts for them. So it's a band that has definitely stuck with me for a long time. Incredible musicians. Dal's vocals are just absolutely perfect. So their first album, self-titled, it's 2005. What did you guys think when you actually went back and listened to this?
It's good. It's just, I feel like, because, I mean, we're going backwards. It's definitely like immature to what 2 is. And here's the and as much as they played live, I only really remember them playing stuff off of 2, not 1. So I don't know if they ditched a lot of the songs and kind of said, we're moving on. Do you guys remember them playing much off the other albums?
I don't really.
I mean, I do. I remember because they have a couple popular songs. Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead is still one of their most popular songs. Bang the Witch is Dead and Tough as John Jacobs. Those 3 songs, like, were a regular part of the rotation from what I remember. And those were all songs that if I was listening to them online, like through MySpace and stuff along those lines, that would be in people's playlists. So I do remember those songs. I had to go back through though and like really listen to the whole album again. But when I was listening through that, I was like, oh, I very clearly remember those 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's been so long, but I'm kind of with Josh. I'm sure they played them, but I don't remember them as much. And I actually looked up one of their set lists that people have posted recently, and the only song from that album they play is Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead. And then like it's like 8 songs from 2 and then 2 songs from 3, and that's it.
Really?
Which I'm cool with. That's like a cool set list to me because there are a couple songs on 3 that I'm all right with, but 2 is definitely their best. So going back and listening to their first album though, Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead. I mean, that intro song is it's wild. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like a blast right in the face. I was like, dang, this is sick.
I mean, it is such a heavy Southern riff right out of the gate. That is a crazy introduction into who Maylene is and like who they would become. Is there like another band who like signifies who they are more just like firmly with that opening song than Maylene? Like, it's crazy.
I think it's wild to me too that like you get the vocals out of Dallas and Maylene when the last vocals you heard from them were from the first 3 Under Oath records.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some of that carries over into this. Like when you're listening to Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead, it goes and all of a sudden there's like a faster, heavy breakdown. And he kind of reverts back to Under Oath Dallas right there. It gets a bit wild on those like really heavy parts compared to 2. 2, he never goes as heavy as he does on 1. So like I like this album because of that. His vocals are definitely the heaviest they are of any albums on 1.
Yeah. I mean, do you like the change of vocals he did, Josh, or did you prefer what they did on their self-titled or Under Oath, right?
Yeah, it definitely grew on me. Like I say, it threw me off at first because I kind of went, "Is this the band?" Like he doesn't look like an emo kid, right? Because the last time I seen Under Oath was with Thrice, and I'm like, he doesn't what? But it was at that moment of like, okay, well then I remember I bought the CD. I think I got it from Graywell a couple weeks later, but then they actually sounded just like they did on the CD as they did live. And I actually think I actually like him and Maylene more his vocals than on the Act of Depression. But I also liked Under Oath's direction where they were going, the vocals that had changed to that more than the earlier stuff. I mean, I like it all now, but at the time, I wasn't like a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, kind of seeing where Under Oath went musically, Spencer's definitely a better fit. Mm-hmm. And if there was any chance that we didn't get Maylene, then I'm glad that he left because, like, Maylene's ridiculous. So,
have you guys listened to the Reinventing Your Exit, the original version Heatherwood that actually has Dallas Taylor on it?
I didn't know there was one.
So it's called Heatherwood. They did like a demo where they were demoing out a lot of this stuff, and he's on there, and it's not the same lyrics or anything, but it's reinventing your exit. Like if you listen to the guitars and the music, it's that. Originally, it was going to be called like Blind or something light, whatever the chorus is, something light. Then they called it Heatherwood. It's not that great. Like the fact when we got Reinventing Your Exit with Spencer on there, that song is like flawless in my opinion. It would not have been good the way they kept it with Dallas.
Yeah.
So the split was a good thing.
Yeah, some things are just meant to be.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's how you got, from Norma Jean and the Chariot.
Yeah.
They're both great bands. But like the Chariot live was like something you would have never gotten if you would have stayed in Norma Jean.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even think
100%.
there's anyone in that band that's original anymore either. But
I didn't even think about that. So the Chariot has a lot of Southern riffs. They're obviously a lot more sporadic, but
yeah.
I wonder if there's a little influence there.
I'm sure there is. I don't think there was any bands though that were like straight Southern the whole way through. Because like
He's Legend's the closest you're gonna get.
Yeah, and even those guys, like his singing's more clean and different.
Yeah.
Like Dallas, like portrays a southern hillbilly,
So
right?
So it feels like Maylene was hardcore kids playing Southern metal.
100%.
Where He Is Legend is just like, I don't know. They're from like North Carolina, like the backwoods. It's like backwoods people playing Southern, like what is native to them, right? Like He Is Legend sounds like they're playing a heavier version of the music that they grew up with, Yep. So I feel like there's more intention with Maylene when they did it because they like were trying. It almost feels like they were trying to push that envelope. Whereas He Is Legend's like, no, this is like where we're from. This is the music we're gonna make. We're just gonna put a heavier spin on it.
Yeah.
So
I really
don't know that.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say another song that really like stood out for me. That's kind of I won't call it deep cut, but a song that's not just one of the normal ones you would call off of one is Gusty Like the Wind.
Yeah.
So that one is super fast, super Southern, but then you get almost like punk into it because you get those AFI, like the whoa kind of things in there. And it was awesome. Like it's what you're saying. You get a callback to hardcore, to punk, to things along those lines within this Southern structure. And it's super solid that way.
Yeah. So kind of going off that, Trevor, because I like that point. One of my favorite songs off this album is Lady at the Gate. Because that breakdown that hits like 40 seconds in, that like if you took the Southern parts out, like that's just a straight up hardcore breakdown.
Yeah.
But the way they add like the Southern overtones with the guitar and his scream, it's just like you just want to like stink face the whole time, like, with your head rocking. And it's incredible, right? Like you just mean mug while you're listening to it. It's great. I love it. So
and what you're saying there, the head bobbing, just the slow head bobbing.
Yeah.
That's what you get the whole way through. I freaking just love the slow jam bob kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
It's kind of scrunching your face up like someone farted. And you're doing that sound too, you're going, oh yeah, So what's did you get a chance to listen to this album, Josh? Like, what did you think of it? Or what's your favorite song or whatever?
Tell me which one we're on. I get all
Just
these albums.
Just one.
First
still.
one. Yeah, the first one still.
I listened to it and it was like there wasn't anything bad to say about it. I mean, I just like I was telling you, like I don't really remember any of these songs being played live. So, and I honestly think that's how it was. Like I felt the same way when I saw him, and so I saw him. I'll just say I saw him in 2007 because I can't remember what year, but they basically played everything off of 2 that I remember like vividly, but don't remember anything off of the first one. But I think it's good. Like I say, I think it's like the immature version of 2. I think it's a good leading record up into it. But I think 2 definitely overpowered it by a long shot. But
Yeah.
I might feel differently if I would have heard this record first.
So I was actually having this conversation with one of the guys who I go back and forth with on socials. And because I posted to last week, I said, give me a better Southern album than this. And he commented, he said, One. And I was just like, no way. And he's like, it was the album that I had in my car all the time. So it's what you're saying. Had you heard One first and caught that Southern feel from One, it might be a different story. Because 2 is definitely the one that we had on, like I said, nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I still do. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I think in 2 they definitely pushed the heavy limits. Like, how heavy can we take this without it like being like stupid heavy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While keeping it in the Southern structure.
I feel like 2 they like the first album, self-titled, is heavy and it's Southern, but that's it, right? I feel like 2 you could tell that they stretch themselves a lot more, because to go from a song like even Dry the River to Darkest of Kin, that's just like super fast, and then to go to like While, that's like ZZ Top song, and it was really cool to see, like, musically, that they weren't just like a joke band, right? They were like, no, like, we're going to show you that we're actual musicians and we can legit play music, and we're going to destroy your guys' brains at the same time because you're going to be headbanging so hard,
Right.
So this is the album where, when we did the Alexis on Fire episode, and Kyle, you said we could always have Josh play the opening drum pattern, right, to that song.
Yeah.
What's it called? So this is the album, Raised by the Tide. We would sit in your practice space, Josh, and you would bust out the Maylene riffs. Do you remember that? And I would sit there, and I'm pretty sure it was Raised by the Tide. You'd play that. I
can still play that.
Heck yeah. Dude, it's so sick. I love that opening riff. But this one has just so many songs, whether it's Memories of the Grove with the opening drum beat, Dry the River with the opening drum, Raised by the Tide with that opening riff, or Wild, where it's like, I feel like hell.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much catchiness to this album.
Seriously.
It's so sick. There's nothing bad to say about this album.
No, and when they played it live, like Josh said, I mean, they sounded the exact same. But the amount of energy, even a song like While, when they played that live, you're just like, oh, this is like, I'm gonna go nuts right now. Like, it was just, I don't know. There's just something about this band that's just in your face. It's fast, it's fun, and it's heavy. And this album is like the epitome of that. So it came out in 2007. They switched to Ferret Music for this one. And I remember, I don't remember how we found them. I don't know if it was at a show or if we just stumbled across like MySpace or something. I honestly don't know how we found them. But I remember when I first listened to them, I was like, Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. That's a freaking weird band name. Do you guys know the like story behind the band?
So a lot of people do know it, but go for it.
Well, it's based off of Kate Barker.
Barker. Baker.
Yeah. Baker. That's what they call her, Ma, right?
Yeah.
And her and her sons, and they were they ran the Barker Karpis gang during the Public Enemy era. And so they named the band after them. And hold on, sorry, I'm trying to find where I'd written that stuff. I don't know, Trevor, if you have any more that you want to jump in.
Yeah, I've got you. So basically, Ma Baker, they were a gang that was just running rampant throughout the South, and they were moving around different places. But they claimed that she was like the head of this gang, the brains of the operation, kind of thing. Who's the FBI guy? Hoover. Hoover, when she was killed, came out and said she is one of the most evil, most genius masterminds of our time. And the people who actually knew her were like, "You murdered an old woman, and that's your excuse for murdering a woman," kind of thing. So, because everyone said she was just like a good Southern, wanted nothing to do with what her sons were doing. She knew what they were doing, but she would like go out to the movies when they were robbing banks and things along those lines. And then basically the reason why they kind of kept her around instead of leaving her is it was easier to move from town to town under the guise of a family moving as opposed to a bunch of hillbilly dudes who had wanted posters out kind of thing. So the interesting thing I saw about this though is she's been portrayed in so many different aspects of movies and stuff. But one of the movies that we're very familiar with, The Goonies, Ma Fratelli is actually based off of that type of backstory of being the head of a gang and leading her sons kind of thing. So
that's funny.
It is super interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I know that there was an interview that Dallas did where he says that what struck him about that story is how it symbolizes what goes around comes around. I guess there where he grew up, there were like a lot of reenactments of some stuff they did. And there were 5 guys in the band and she had 5 sons. And so it just kind of stuck with him. And that's, where they got their name. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting because they're a band that touted, being like a Christian band and standing up for your values. And all these interviews that I watched of Dallas and stuff he said was, that they want to be the band that like lives what they preach. And I just thought it was kind of funny. That's like, you do that, but you name your band after a bunch of kids that murdered a bunch of people.
Well, I think that a lot of that was basically the justice behind it though. Because he was like telling the stories of things that happened. But at the end of it, even on all their albums, they're being drug off because they've been killed. They're, sitting there with bags over their heads and stuff. It's a very like justice-based theme is what it feels like. So,
but the song's on 2. So that's, I mean, 2's what got me into them. That's how I went and found out about their name. Thought it was super interesting, the story. But I mean, do you guys can you say you have a favorite song on this album? What are your high points? Are there any low points?
I don't know if there is, in my opinion. Like, I could listen to this album straight through. The song that I feel like probably gets overlooked is That Wild because it starts out so quirky, but it has one of like the best breakdowns on the entire album. It is so freaking good. But
the one at the end of the song where it like really slows down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So heavy.
I hear that.
There's just so many like singable, catchy moments. Like right off the gate, Memories of the Grove, starting out where he comes in, he's just like, I was a drifter. Yeah. Like everyone just has so much fun with these guys. It's awesome.
I remember seeing them play and they opened with Memories of the Grove. And the cool drum beat right into the guitar solo, I just like, dude, I remember just going absolutely wild for that. And it's got like, what's cool is...
I really loved...
Go ahead.
Sorry, you froze. I really love just Darkest of Kin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the music video where they're like skateboarding the pool too?
I can't remember.
I don't remember their music video super well.
Yeah, I think it's like a skate video, and it was incredible.
Such a heavy just riff right out of the gates.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Josh, though, because as a non-musician, like I've heard people kind of talk crap on Maylene that like their guitarist is all right because he can solo and stuff, but like musically, is this very complicated stuff? No.
But that's like, I don't know. Sounds really silly, but like it's like the rule of like four chords. Uh, Basically, any big popular song you've ever heard is based off of four chords, and it's the same progression. Or sometimes the progression is reversed. But you could literally take like a Taylor Swift song and like a Blink 182 song and like a hardcore song, and it's all the same four freaking chords. They're just in different keys. Like
Okay.
there was a video, somebody broke it down one time. It's just like basically a typical pattern, but you're used to hearing it so much, but you hear so many different melodies to it. But that's kind of like what I feel like, because there's being like, I don't know what you call it. There's a type of musician where like you learn how to like play your instrument and make everything complicated, but and like know how to do it. But then there's also the type of musician where it's like, how do I make this as simple as I can and no one can catch on that it's just like everything else? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's really hard to do. So, but I mean, like I say, these riffs, like the riffs are pretty basic and they're played over and over and over. So what they'll do is sometimes they'll pull out a lead, but the riff is still there. It's still the same riff. Or the drum pattern just changes. But you don't really think about that because you're just like, no, dude, it goes way slower. And I'm like, it doesn't. He just changed the drum beat. It's still the same speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much Southern you can do, right?
Sure.
And Maylene has definitely done it all. But to be able to just kind of mix it up here and there, you definitely hear the same similar structures to a lot of their riffs in their different songs. But then Dallas will do something, or like you're saying,
Right.
Josh, they'll just change up the drum pattern, or they'll change tempos. And it's kind of the same structure. But in the end, it's a Southern Maylene riff.
Yeah. But that's what
You
kind of
know.
makes it fun too, though, is
It's the same with hardcore.
yeah, you don't have to like think about this music, like you just listen to it and it's catchy and it hits all the right, like, pardon the pun, chords that you need. You know what I mean? So
Well, and their tones on, especially on 2 on that album, are awesome.
yeah.
You don't need an 808. You don't need like some digital thing in the background. It's just raw amps, and they
Right.
sounded just like that live.
Yep, they did.
Yeah.
So last thing on it, my favorite song is Don't Ever Cross a Troll.
Okay.
Because the breakdown at the very end where it's like the really slow chugging, they're like dun 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 dun, and then they do the guitar solo like overlay, and yeah, dude, that song gets me going every freaking time. So, but all right, moving on to 3. This was released in 2009, and it was also on Ferret. So this was an album that when it came out, I don't think we all received it very well.
No.
I think we were so caught up in 2 that when 3 released it we were probably a little disappointed. Am I wrong there?
I agree with that.
I was very disappointed.
Okay.
So,
how do you feel going back now and listening to it? Really?
It's okay. It just doesn't hit like 2 did. I feel like it's almost, to me, it's almost kind of equivalent to 1 as far as like how the songs sound and how they're written. I feel like that 1 and 3 are pretty interchangeable for me.
Okay. So I actually really like this album more that I've gone back and listened to it. I still like 2 the most. Don't get me wrong. But I listened to it and I was like, this is actually really good music. I know it's not the same and it's hard to like bridge that gap from 2 because I don't think they raised that bar so high with that album that it didn't matter what they released after it. It wasn't gonna meet expectations, right?
They screwed themselves. They peaked too early.
They kind of did. But it's a slow descent, I feel, now that I've gone back and listened to 3 again. I actually really like it.
So going through Reddit, something I saw that popped up, I absolutely hate this, but they referred to Maylene as NASCOR. And I feel like this album is the epitome
All
of
right.
like if you were to use that as a definition for a genre. There was like 4 people who were like, never say that again. It's just Southern metal.
Well, there you go. You got freaking Reebok sponsoring Speed. Where's NASCAR sponsoring Maylene? You know?
Freaking Jeff
But
Gordon.
that's how I felt about this album. Is it just like it turned into I've got a cousin who's really into actual Southern rock, right? He's listening to the ZZ Tops, the Leonard Skinnards, the Alabamas, that kind of stuff. This is an album that I would expect that cousin to listen to, and I know for a fact I could never get him to listen to 2.
Okay. But you guys are sitting here acting like ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner aren't dope as well.
No, they're good. Like they are good. It's not my
I
style
love
of music.
ZZ Top.
Yeah,
Not really
I
Yeah,
mean,
me
Leonard
too.
Skinner, but ZZ Top's sick.
I couldn't sit there and listen to an entire album from those guys. I can listen to songs.
You just listen
I
to Freebird
absolutely-
over and over again?
Absolutely, yeah. Just
Yeah.
the opening part too. So, but that's how I feel about it. Is it's just something where it's like it's Southern rock now. Like they've trended outside of the realm of the style of music I was listening to.
I tried listening to my dad one time, and he said something, I can't stand the vocals. And I remember looking at him and I was like, I had to listen to Sammy Hagar for years.
you
You can
listen to
sit
this.
through one song with me for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
What song did you show him?
It was the first one off of 2. What was that one called?
Oh, off of 2? Okay. If you showed him something off of 2, I can get that. I thought you said you showed him something off of 3. And I was like, there's a lot on 3 that I could feel like my parents could potentially stomach, right? Because there's a lot of like 80s style like hair metal band singing and stuff on it even. So
That's weird. My dad's like all about the 60s and 70s, and he just like totally skipped the 80s era and then
Yeah.
just like hated the 90s. Yeah. It's a weird guy. But yeah, I was like, yeah, man, I had to listen to like Sammy Hagar. I had to listen to weird, yeah, like you say, like these weird hair metal bands. Even my mom, I'm like, I had to sit and listen to AC/DC over and over.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm fine.
Yeah. I will say though, the incorporation of the banjo into this album, I do like that. I do like that they've started to add some. They
Yeah.
took Southern to another level, right, by putting that stuff in there.
So were there any songs that particularly stood out? Like I know Step Up, I'm on it is arguably their most popular song, right? It was like featured on WWE and I think a movie. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know that Step Up is like massive for
Yeah.
pop culture stuff, but any other songs that you guys particularly liked?
I mean, just because Settling Scores by Burning Bridges is the closest that you get to old Maylene. Like that's heavy. You get a lot of that kind of stuff there. I think it was, like it's cheesy, but if you're gonna go like really southern, just kind of poppy, the next song, Listen Close.
So that's my favorite song off that.
Yeah.
album. I actually really like it. I think it's catchy as heck, man.
It's just
so
catchy.
good.
It's catchy.
And they do the what was that guitar player? Peter Frampton that would like breathe into the tube and play, Like I think they do that, right? Where they like
I'll do that.
Yeah, they do
I
that.
want you to show me the way.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I like this album. I think it's solid. I think you guys aren't giving it enough credit for what it deserves.
I think it's better than I remember. I will say that it's better than I remember.
And it's better than the next album that came out.
Yeah, the next album's just dog crap. So such a pile of trash.
It's 4 and still on Ferret, released 2011. I don't think I ever listened to this album till like maybe last year or a year before. Like fully. I listened to songs and I was like, dang, this stuff sucks. Like Faith Healer and Open Your Eyes. Like Open Your Eyes, like that song made me sick to my stomach listening to it. What did you guys think of this album? Had you listened to it like when it came out and stuff?
No, 2011. I was moved on to other things.
Yeah.
After 3 didn't catch me, I just did not even care to listen to 4. That being said, like listening to a couple things, there's some absolute just horrible, you should never listen to them again kind of thing. But there's a couple songs like Faith Healer where if you didn't know it was Maylene and you just listened to it and were just looking for like a general rock song, it's fine. You know?
Say, listening to that Open Your Eyes, they definitely could have opened for like Breaking Benjamin at this point.
Yeah. It gets bad.
Which song was it that had Danny Trejo in the music video?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's Faith Healer. But yeah,
What?
Open Your Eyes is terrible. I hate that song. I don't enjoy any of the songs off this album, to be completely honest with you. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they were going for.
This was like probably what the fear everybody had with him was like, okay, you're playing the butt rock line, like keep it cool, and then they went full butt rock and went, nope.
Yeah.
Not cool anymore. Like, okay, Open Your Eyes is probably pretty equivalent to like a Nickelback song. If you put Nickelback's vocals over it, you probably wouldn't know a difference.
I mean, same with Fate Games. Like, listen to that song. It's the same kind of thing.
And they lost their like Southern uniqueness too. Like it just sounds like, it just sounds like butt rock.
Yeah, for sure. This is also the time though that Dallas Taylor is starting to get into acting. He's starting to get into other things. So where you say Danny Trejo's in one of the music videos and stuff, like he's starting to very much pull himself out of what Maylene is and starting to go into different avenues. I listened to an interview with him where he was like, I just didn't care. He's like, I really didn't have a passion for it. He just had gotten divorced from his wife. There was a bunch of stuff going on in his personal life. They touted this as being like their most honest album. It was the best Maylene was ever going to be. There's not a hint of Maylene on here.
No. I'm sure that's just, I mean, from 2 to 3, they gained a lot of popularity. From 3 to 4, they gained popularity. And so when you get to like the 4th album, they're probably like, well, we have to say this crap, you know?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Danny Trejo like in person?
No.
He's really short.
He's like 5'6" or something, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, movies you don't really like notice, I guess, too much.
Yeah.
You don't really like, pay attention. Yeah, I met him once and I like remember walking up and I was like, you were really short.
Where did you meet Danny Trejo?
At Castle of Chaos.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah, we were a bunch of us were working there one night. They're like, oh, we're having a guest appearance. He's going to be doing a signing thing. And then all the workers that were there like, hey, do you want to go meet him? And I walked back there and I was like, holy shit, you were really short.
Was this right after he did the Machete movies?
Yeah, it would have been like 2008. So probably, yeah.
So we're right around that. That's probably why he was signing stuff in a horror.
Yeah.
A haunted house.
He filmed a lot of those movies here.
Oh.
Like down below the gateway and stuff. Yeah, there's actually one, I don't remember what movie it is, but you can actually see the gateway behind him. So
that's interesting. I mean, that's probably the most interesting part about this album is that Danny Trejo had some sort of involvement with it.
That's a fair statement. So, and then real quickly, we'll just gloss over the single that they released last year that's good, and you guys can suck it. Why don't you like it? Like, honestly, why don't you like it? Especially because, okay, you listen to 4 and then you go to their single and you're like, well, at least they tried.
They should have just not.
Okay, why don't you like it? Honestly, tell me.
Okay, first of all, vocals are absolutely terrible. Production is terrible. It sounds like crap. And like, it's still the same problem. They like try to add like a little weird new metal riff into it, and it just didn't. It didn't do it for me. Which I was really bummed because, like, you know, I saw that they were like releasing a new song, right? They hadn't released a song this 12 years.
Yeah,
And Dallas had that crazy accident, so who knew if they were ever going to do anything again. So the intro starts playing, right? And I'm like, oh, this is a cool intro. I will say that has a very cool intro. And then the music kicks in, and his vocals just did not do it for me. And I went, this is rough. And then I felt really bad because I'm like, well, I understand, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I can't even listen to this. It just broke my heart, man. Just stopped listening to it.
All right, so we'll ignore that, Trevor. I'm just kidding.
No, like honestly, I'm not as bad as Josh on it. I actually do. I would like to see this live. I actually went, I watched him play it live on a couple of videos and stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think Dallas is ever going to be the same. I think that he had enough issues happen with not only his face, but his lungs and stuff like that. I just don't think that he's going to be able to sing through an entire song the right way. And I think that's part of why the vocals are recorded how they are. Because actually, when you watch it live, so they, for the 4 album, they were down to 4 members. They're back up to 6 when they play in a live setting. So they got 3 guitar players, bass player, Dallas, and drummer. And one of the guitar players puts his guitar down a couple of times and just picks up the mic and just starts singing. And so I think that the music's fine. I think that they tried to do too many weird things with the banjo in there. That's what kind of loses me with it. But yeah. It's not too like that's the hard part.
I get the intro vocals are a little hard. I'll give you that. But like when you get a little bit past like 2/3 of the song, it does sound like old Dallas. Like his singing sounds better on point. The breakdown at the end is actually really freaking cool. I wish you guys would acknowledge that. It's not bad, but I don't know. It's just a one song. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're going to do any more. I'm going to go see them in a couple weeks. So
I think they're coming through here. And I think I'm going to try to catch them. Like, I'll go see them live. I'd love to see him live. So
he doesn't even have to sing, honestly, dude. If they just play stuff from 2, like I'll get up there and grab the mic. I know
no, for real. I'm there for the music more than anything. Like Dallas is awesome. Like huge fond memories of it, right? So a little bit disappointing, but if they've got someone who can just hold down the rhythm of the vocals kind of thing, and then they just are blasting everything else, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. So the other thing I wanted to bring up is, so what's interesting, and I missed this, but after 4, right? Because when did I say 4 come out? 2011. So in 2013, Dallas starts a side project with a guy, the old guitarist from Under Oath, the dude from Disciple AD and Jesus Wept.
Ex-Disciple X AD.
A couple of those guys. Yeah, it's called Riot Head. Did you listen to that?
Yeah. It's actually the drummer.
Oh, it was the drummer? Okay.
Yeah, it was Under Oath's drummer, and then the bass and guitarist from Ex-Disciple X and Jesus Wept.
Dude, Riot Head was dope. It was sick. Did you not like it?
I liked it. Josh, have you heard it?
I
think you'd like it, but I also say that and you hate things, so.
I like Disciple AD, and I like Jesus Wept. I listen to them a lot.
Yeah, basically sounds like Jesus Wept with Dallas's vocals.
Yeah,
which is good, right?
I will say his vocals get a little bit more harsh on Riot Head than they did ever on Maylene. Maybe not on one, but the majority of it got a lot heavier, a lot harsher on Riot Head.
But I just thought that was interesting, the timing. This is after 4 and how bad that was.
Yeah.
And then he would start something super heavy with like freaking the guys from Ex-Disciple X and Jesus Wept. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah.
That's what
I was all for it.
4 should have been. So,
Yep.
and then the last
Go for
piece
it.
of info I want to throw out there is that he was in Joe Dirt too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
what do you have, Josh?
One tour I did get to see them on. I couldn't find the one where I saw them in Ogden. I can't find it anywhere, but
I'm pretty sure it was the Confide, A Static Lullaby, Attack.
That was in Salt Lake.
That was?
Pretty sure.
I swear we saw Confide in Ogden.
No, that was in Salt Lake. That was Attack's first show in Salt Lake. They didn't even have a record at the time.
Okay.
So they played then. I can't remember what they played in 2007. And then in 2008 I did see them. It was Scream the Prayer. So it was In the Midst of Lions, 100th, The Great Commission, I the Breather, The Color Morale, A Plea for Purging, Blessed by Broken Heart, For Today, Maylene and Sons of Disaster. I remember that show starting at like 5 o'clock and ending at like midnight.
It's an incredible lineup. Incredible.
So good. So fun.
Saw them a bunch of times at Warped Tour. I feel like they were like a staple for Warped Tour every summer.
Oh yeah.
So
they did.
That's
I did
where
see.
them the most.
I did see one tour they were on. It came through here and I just didn't go. But it was like Under Oath, Every Time I Die, and Poison the Well, and Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wasn't at that one.
I don't feel like that one went through Salt Lake though.
Well, it says it did. Whether it got canceled or not, I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't remember. That feels like a show that I wouldn't have missed, especially in. When did you say it was? 2007.
2007.
I don't feel like we would have missed that. But
I don't know.
Guatemala or something.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I was dead.
So
I don't know.
I went in and I tried to find just some new Southern bands, like active one. I sent one to you, Kyle. Ogama County. Like
they're cool.
A very heavy Southern band if you're into this stuff. I'm a big fan of Foxbat. They're still releasing some new music currently. And then just some bands who aren't doing stuff. There was like Wilson, who that first album.
Yeah.
Only their first album. Don't worry about anything else. But like you said, he is legend. They're doing their 20 year of I Am Hollywood. I'm thrilled for that. I'm so excited for that tour to come through. So
The Undertaking is a new one that's like fresh out the gate. I think they just got signed to maybe Solid State, but they're like a mix of like the Chariot and Maylene. I don't know. It's really cool. I really like it. It's like kind of chaotic-y Southern stuff. And then have you heard of Get Your Guns?
No.
So they're like a smaller band out of like Kentucky or something like that, but they just played with A Plea for Purging, and they're pretty cool Southern stuff too. I'd never heard of them before, but I guess they've been around a while. So
Plea and No Cure show that just happened.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So Get Your Guns open for them, and I went and listened to them. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of dope. It's not it's not in the hardcore vein. It's in the like, kind of like what you sent me with the, what were they called? Okagogi?
Ogama County.
Yeah.
Sick.
So.
But I don't think anything ever beats 2. I think 2 will forever go down as the best Southern metal album out.
I agree with that. It's an album that I'm always listening to. Great memories to it. Like I said, every time I think about Maylene, I think about breaking my finger on some kid's head while I'm moshing to him. And yeah, I don't know. It's a band that you just have these fond memories of back in the day, that you can put on and you still want to jam out to. So
I think about all the pants that I cut in half and the mustaches we would try to grow, the absurd like facial hair you try to grow, and the cutoff vests.
I forgot about that. That like red and black checkered vest.
Did I cut no shirt on underneath.
Dang, dude, I do remember that because I did cut my jeans like pretty high too. They were almost like booty
Yeah.
shorts.
Daisy
And
Duke
then
style.
yeah, and then I had that like flannel vest that I'd wear without a shirt on underneath. God, why'd you guys let me do that?
Oh
I'm
man,
pretty sure I played a show in that too.
you
You
did.
You definitely did. It was that
Jake
Jake Fest
Fest.
over there in
Yeah.
Ogden, or not Ogden, Farmington.
You wore that. I wore spandex, so you were better than me. So
That's right, you did wear spandex. They
I
were
remember
like,
you. I remember you telling me something like I don't even care to play. They can turn my amp down. I don't care. I'm gonna run around and I'm gonna kick somebody in the face. something like that.
yeah. I think there was one time that I was like, I think when we played in Salt Lake one of the times, I was like headbanging and stuff with the bass, and then I looked down and it's unplugged. And I didn't even notice, dude. I didn't even care. I didn't know how to play bass. Like our friend Ian had to like tab everything out for me, and I just got up there and did it. So
it's
Did
just
you
fun.
practice? Yeah, man. Practice my moves.
I did. I didn't even. Yeah, I still have that bass. I don't know where. I don't know. It's in my mom's house somewhere.
I thought you said she sold it or something.
Oh, maybe she did. That shows you how much I cared about that. So, but good times.
Well, sick.
So, all right. Well, that's all I got.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Dang.
Bye.
Peace.
Mine.